TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Well, when I first met Rick, he was coming to Memphis, and he had a little valet with, I forgot her name, but
Angel?
It was Angel. Yeah, it was a pretty little girl. And he had the body, and, he was just scared to death. He didn't know what to do. And Model was thinking about getting rid of him because, he was just so tentative in the ring. And he said, go talk to him. He was in Evansville. He said, go talk to him. And I remember I went and talked to him, and I said, listen, man, we want you to open up more and be more expressive and just do what you think. We can't tell you what to do. See, the thing about wrestling is you can give them the keys to the car, but hell, they got to drive the goddamn thing. They got to drive, and you say, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. But hell, you can tell them all you want, but unless he actually goes out there and does it, it's not going to get done. That's why it's a free form, free expression art form. You got to go out there and make it up.
Right.
Hell, make it up, I've seen guys go out there, and we'll get back to Rick in a minute. I've seen guys go out there and have a match with themselves. Crowd, Don Fargo, you ever heard? Don Fargo. Yeah. You've heard of him. A lot of people watch this tape won't know who he is. One of the greatest I've ever seen. I saw him go 15 minutes without and never touched the guy. And the fans falling out of their seats. The damnest thing I ever saw in my life. But he was just good. And he'd holler them, they'd holler him. They still got this chemistry going back and forth, and it wouldn't work every night. But that night, it was just magic.
Right.
So, but Rick Rude, was a good guy, had the body, had everything, and ended up, it's a tragedy what happened to him, but a great worker. You see, Rude and the Road Warriors, and John Nord, the Barbarian, and Curt Henning, they all went to high school together. Their own little clique. There's about, and Ellering, and Nikita,
right,
and Darsow. There's about 10 of them. They all went to the same high school within 3 or 4 years apart. And I worked in the same bar as bouncers. It's funny. That little clique all turned out who they were, big superstars.
Speaking
big
of
stars.
Barry Darsow and Jim Neidhart, they were a team down in Florida at the time. What are your memories of feuding with them?
Great. That Darsow, to be so big, yeah. I went to slam him one time. I almost lost him. He went, so I said, man. So I slammed him quite a bit. Made me look good. And Neidhart had a little harder time with, but he was a hard worker,
Right.
And I remember he went to the WWF from there, And the thing is, he wouldn't tell me he was going. He said, I just got to go do something. And I said, that was, if you're going to go do something, see, maybe they going by old school. Maybe if he thought he told me he was going, I would mess him up down there or something. Or maybe he thought it was bad luck or whatever. My opinion is I wanted him to do good. I want everybody to do good. See, if a guy's, say you're there, right, and I know you in this territory or in this job or whatever, you move to another job, well, if you do good there and it's a good job, I know you now. I got to weigh in.
Right.
So it's networking.
Right,
You go here and I say, hey, what's it like? And then you tell me what the setup is. Now, power is knowledge. I know where to go. I'm not nitpicking my way through it. And you say, oh, dodge him and dodge that lady or dodge whatever. Go talk to this guy. See? But I want everybody to do well.
Right.
And I wanted Neidhart to do well too, and he ended up doing good. I'm glad for him.
How about Bobby Eaton?
Natural. Story about Bobby Eaton one time. See, Bobby Eaton was from Huntsville, Alabama. This is my. I met Bobby, and he's real humble. He's real country, real humble. And you couldn't find a pure guy, a pure of heart. I mean, he's just basically a pure, nice guy. He's got a heart of gold. I don't give a damn. He just feels sorry for everybody. That's the way he's raised.
Right.
A lot of country people are like that, because they come from humble beginnings. And so we went to Huntsville, Alabama, and I forgot who he was working with the Sheik, the original Sheik, And, Bobby was hometown boy, but he had a few detractors out there. And the story, him and the Sheik was out there working on a floor, and I heard in the dressing room the damnedest commotion. Bam, thing slammed. I said, boy, I thought the Sheik had a riot going on. So I run out there, and hell, Sheik walked by me through the hallway. He said, hey, don't get it. Kept going. I said, and the fight's still going on. And Bobby is a hometown boy. What's going on? And I looked out there, and he had some guy up in the stands, and he was beating the dog shit out of this guy. What had happened? The match was over. The Sheik had left. Right. And the people saying, go get him, Bobby. Go get him, Bobby. They's all around the ring. And the guy says, Bobby, and you pieces, or whatever. And when he said that, his mother, Bobby's mother and sister were out there.
Right.
And of course, they didn't like that guy talking to their son and brother that way, right? And they said something to him, and he called them a bitch and a whore. Oh, well, you just don't do that.
Right.
Well, you didn't do it that night. And Bobby went out there, and he hit that. He started whipping the guy's ass. And he whipped him from the ring up into the stands. And by the time I got out there, the guy was bleeding. And I'd never seen a guy do this before. He was trying to beg off, apologize, and leave all at the same time.
All right.
And that Bobby was just tapping him. Pow, 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 pow. Well, that's one of my impressions of Bobby Eaton.
How about Jesse Barr?
A good worker, you know. Met him in Florida. He worked a deal with Brian Blair.
Right.
Nice guy. And I didn't spend a lot. I worked with him, but never spent a lot of time with him.
You said you were down there before with Michael Hayes and working with him. What was he like outside the ring?
Michael?
Big party animal?
Hell yeah. I tell you, when he said he drank more whiskey you could float a battleship in, that's damn right. And you know, Eddie Graham down there was like very like Christian oriented, family oriented, and all that. And this is not a joke to make fun, light of anything, but the last video that Eddie Graham saw, I don't know if you saw it, but the last video that occurred on TV before he killed himself, the Freebirds did an interview around the swimming pool in Florida, and they were drinking Jack Daniels, of course.
Right.
And the video ended with an empty Jack Daniels bottle floating in the water in the pool. That's a hell of a way to end the wrestling interview. That's the way they ended it. And then, you know, it's not to make light of it, but somebody said, you know, that may have drove Eddie over the edge, which it didn't, of course. But
Right.
I think maybe if Eddie had been straight, we'd all been fired. It brought us all off.
How was Bob Backlund like outside the ring?
Oh, he's real funny. He's a funny guy.
Because he was
And I'll tell you, very politically astute too, because he was always attuned to current events. And even when I first met him in Florida in probably the late 70s, you know.
Right.
He was always talking about that, you know. And he was quiet. And he didn't have a car. He never had a car. No, he had a bicycle. I mean, he didn't bicycle to the towns, of course, but, you know, around town, he'd just bicycle here, go to the store, and he'd bicycle to the gym. And it was in great shape, you know. I remember one time I went to Fort Myers, Florida. See, in Tampa, you had West Palm Beach on Monday, Tampa on Tuesday, Miami on Wednesday, Jacksonville on Thursday, Tallahassee on Friday. This is every week, you know. And then Saturday, you'd have Lakeland, or you'd have Sarasota, or you'd have Brandon, Florida, something like that. I don't know. And then Sunday, you'd have Orlando. It was that way every week. So on Tuesday night, I swear to God, I went to Fort Myers. I made Tampa maybe 4 times. Ron Bass was down there with me at the time. He was down there 9 months in Florida and never wrestled in Tampa one time. See, they kept him in Fort Myers the whole time. And finally, he said, man, when am I going to make Tampa? Then it became like a running joke. And every week you get it, Fort Myers. They just kept putting him there. And they said, oh, well, we put you there. And it was a joke.
Right.
But at one time, Fort Myers, we sort of got it going. It was outdrawing Tampa. Well, not for long, but a week or two, we actually outdrew Tampa. But he got me in Fort Myers, Florida, and he hadn't been in the ring, and he was super strong. He took my arm, and he yanked it. I swear to God, he almost yanked it out. You know, it wasn't that's when you do a lot of begging in the ring.
Right.
That's when you say, God damn, don't touch me no more. Just leave me alone. God damn.
TitleMatchNetwork.com